Ciao a tutti ragazzi, siamo al Bronson per il concerto degli M stasera. Con noi c'è Paige Hamilton. Hi Paige.
Hi.
Paige sarà così gentile da rispondere a alcune nostre domande per qualche minuto, quindi vedete l'intervista. My Dog is a new album after 4 years. We're glad of that. Helmet is still creating new music. So you've been very active during these times, but did the album come up via the new material step by step during these years, or just come up because it was the right time, all in once?
There were a couple of songs on here that I probably already started. LA Water and Miserable were ideas I had already kind of started for a while ago, and I just fleshed them out. But the rest of them I just started last summer. And you know, She's Lost and Welcome to Algiers and what other ones? So Long. Those I kind of wrote in the summer, and then I wrote the title track Seeing My Dog in Person and Miserable. Those kind of came together, and White City. Those came together later, and then Morphing was a studio thing.
Created in studio, you mean?
Yes, yeah, absolutely, yeah.
So
and at home, I worked on it. I took it home and added some orchestration things.
Got your own studio?
I wouldn't call it a studio. It's a good writing studio, but in this day and age, you could sit in your toilet and add tracks and things. So it's a home. It's my living room. It's as my girlfriend said. My living room is a real panty dropper. It's like not for girls. It's like got sports stuff and music stuff. 20 guitars and sports things in my home recording equipment.
It's your own range.
Yeah, it's very bachelor dude. So I did a lot of work in there though. It's really fun.
Yeah. So quite brand new album.
Yeah. Very brand new. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
We saw that the new album is entirely produced by you. And Work Song, that is a label that it's owned by you and another guy?
No, by my manager.
Your manager?
Yeah, and my friend Joe Henry, the singer-songwriter, great singer-songwriter Joe Henry. Yeah, and David Whitehead, my manager from Main Road. They started this label 5 years ago, maybe, David and I discussed me starting a label, and I just have no interest. You know,
that's just what we want to ask you, because we thought that you were starting a career as a producer, producing every band.
I've been producing things for forever, you know, and I produced, you know, Meantime and Betty and Aftertaste. I had co-producers that worked with Dave Sardi, was amazing, and Butch Vig and Andy Wallace and Terry Dave. He mixed
he was full.
Yeah, I worked with a lot of great, amazing people. Albini. Who doesn't like to be called producer?
Why?
You'll have to ask him. I don't know, because I don't know why he's got some stick up his ass about it. You know, everybody's got their cross to bear, I guess. But I've been producing. You know, I've worked with a lot of bands. None of them really well known. A band called Ghidra in Pittsburgh years ago. A band called American Standard in Connecticut. I produced this summer a band called Callahan. And another band called Nothing Air, and then I worked with Gavin Rossdale on his first solo album, and this band called Bullets and Octane, another band called Classic Case.
So you did stuff. Anyway.
Yeah, I've been doing it for a long time. You know, it's it's not something it's not
your own label.
Yeah, it's not my own label. Yeah, I have no interest. I'm not a good business person, so you know, I'm best left to the creative.
I think so do I.
Musical things. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. This is for Beatles fan. Why that song?
That song as opposed to any other Beatles song, or why the Beatles? I always thought that song stood out in the entire Beatles catalog. It's a one-time deal. Is it
from Revolver, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I just, you know, I mean, they were such a great band, obviously.
Yeah.
And such great songwriters, obviously, and such great production, obviously. And just everything about it, and I was always afraid to do the Beatles. You know, we'd all strum the Beatles in our bedroom, but it's another thing to do it in public. And but
the result is very cool. We like it.
Thanks. Cool. Yeah. I worked on this movie Across the Universe, a Julie Taymor movie, and I kind of worked through about 30 Beatles songs with those guys. in preparation for the movie. I think I ended up on about 9 or 10 songs on the movie. And that wasn't one of the songs, and I always thought that would be a great song to do.
To put on the album.
Yeah, I always thought we were doing it in Europe last year in 2009 live, and I thought, oh, you know, why not try it? Try recording of it.
Yeah.
If it sucks, we won't use it. And it turned out great, so we were real happy with it.
Is this the first cover that you did in a Helmet album, or not?
Yes, on a Helmet album proper. We've done covers. We did a Bjork cover of Army of Me for the music firm Mother Ocean. We did a cover of Black Sabbath, Symphony of the Universe for the Jerky Boys movie. We did a cover of Cities on Flame by Blue Oyster Cult for, I think it was John Peel or Goodrich Session, something like that.
Good stuff.
Yeah. We always choose a variety of songs. I can't think. We tried back years and years ago. We tried to do the Spinners song, "I'll Be Around," but it didn't really work for us. And we couldn't figure out how to arrange it interestingly for Helmet. But we've always messed around with that kind of stuff.
All right. So if we have a few more minutes.
Yeah, sure. Of course.
This is a question for guitarists, and comes up with this guy because I gotta tell you, we got a cover band and we cover Helmet. At least we try. My friend of mine, Gal, come up with these questions. No solos are like, or your kind of solos, we say, non-classic solos.
Right.
A kind of peculiar thing from Helmet. So, how do you create and come up with this kind of non-classic solos? It's like, I don't know, is there any technique to do solos or not?
You know,
or it comes from your jazz past?
I've always been, I've always believed, you know, because of the experiences that I've had musically, that everything you do musically contributes to everything else you do. So my jazz playing makes me, is part of me, makes me the musician that I am.
Yes.
Being in Helmet makes me the musician that I am. Studying classical guitar as a student makes me a musician that I am. Producing albums or working on movies or working with Casper Brodsman or a band of Susans, Robert Poss. You learn from everybody that you work with. And when I sat down, we were making Strap It On, and the song was Repetition, I believe, the first song that I wrote in drop tuning. When that riff came to me one night, walking home actually up Avenue A in New York, and I played a couple solos, and it's like, this is crap. It was really bad. It was like pentatonic rock shit. It was like, this is fucking boring. Nobody wants to hear this. I don't want to hear this. Okay. And so I started thinking, I just got to do something that's gonna like kind of kick me in the chest.
Yes.
And so I put on like an extra distortion box, and I had messed with distortion, for years, and I had a little MXR yellow pedal, and Distortion Plus, and Robert Poss and Band Susans had the Rat pedals. He would stack up, and I was like, that's crazy, and I knew you could do it. I just never really occurred to me in the context of Helmet. So I put on a distortion box and a chorus pedal or something, and the guitar was just like, it was
wide.
I had to like kind of wrap myself around it to control it a little bit. And so I started playing things, and the guitar was like, it was almost like it was trying to escape, and trying to jump out of my hands. Yeah. And so I was half wrestling it and half playing things that I learned and heard in my head. Yeah. And this style kind of developed, and I went like, God, that was a shit storm. And I went in and worked, Wharton Tears, who I worked with on the Strap It On in the meantime, said, that's amazing. You got to come and listen to this shit. And I listened to it. I was like, wow, it's ridiculous. It's so much fun. And so it's over the years, I've worked at that, and I continue to do that. So when someone hears me sit down and play a clean guitar, they're like, I didn't know you knew all those scales and could play clean and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, of course. I practice jazz guitar pretty much every day, and I love it. But that is only part of it, and so I mean, and it's you have to use your ears and your brain and your heart, and sometimes you need something to jar you out of that technical mind of just thinking too much about it. So many guitar players I admire as guitar players, but not as musicians.
Yeah, I understand that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know that. It's kind of like having a guitar, like an animal that you just come up and you want to keep it working, in some way. So it's like a solos from you and from the guitar together.
Yeah, that's what, and that's and I think like if you play a saxophone, the breath is coming from inside you, and it's a more physical instrument in a way. And I listen to jazz, obviously, as we've talked about, and I listen to a lot of saxophone players, and I've transcribed John Coltrane Afro Blue impressions. You know, I've transcribed Bessie's blues. I've transcribed Miles Davis solos from like So What, and I've transcribed Wayne Shorter and Bill Evans, a piano player, but a lot of horn players and piano players, and it forces you out of your comfort zone in the guitar. And people have said this to me before, you're like a horn player almost, weird things I do on the guitar. And it's just kind of years and years. I think if you listen actively and you participate in that music and you dedicate time to listening to music actively, rather than just putting it on in the background or driving or whatever. Sometimes you sit down and just listen to music. You absorb through osmosis. You really do. John Stoll, one of my great jazz guitar heroes, said this to me, 30 years ago, and I've took it to heart. And I still do that. And I listen. I think it's important to listen to instrumentalists other than guitar players. And you'll come up with interesting things.
Yes. Okay. Now a question about the album artwork. We noticed that we have, for the third time, we have a woman on the cover. And is that it come up from you? And can you tell us why this woman is falling down and which is the message behind it?
Well, it's mostly just a beautiful image. The photo was taken like this. There was a glass table.
Yes.
Not to reveal too much, but there was a glass table. We put her on. We put the martini up there.
Yes.
And I just kind of thought, my friend and I that came up with the album artwork just thought it was kind of an interesting image. I like this dress. She had a bunch of different dresses she put on. I like the green. So yeah, we just thought it was cool. I like the kind of American dream, or the collapse of the American dream.
Okay.
It's kind of a theme with me if you look at the Betty album cover, or if you. I think it goes back to Led Zeppelin Presence.
Yes.
I played guitar because of Led Zeppelin, and Led Zeppelin Presence. Presence was the album when
Lots of people that think.
Yeah. Well, when I was 16, I was just like, this is the coolest album cover ever. And it also happens to be the era that I grew up in, the 60s. I was born in 1960.
You lucky one.
Yeah. So all that photography and have you seen my artwork? The thing, legacyofhelmet.com. If you go to that, Legacy, Legacy.
No, I just went to helmetmusic.com.
Oh yeah, there should be a link on there, but maybe there's not. It's Legacy of Helmet, Legacy of helmet.com.
Go check it out, guys.
Yeah, it's cool. It's these canvases I did there, 30 by 40, and it's photographic collage that we put together. A photo of my mother holding me when I was a baby. And then we built the motel that I lived in when I was a child. Wow. My parents lived in the back of a motel, and it's pretty cool. And then I paint lyrics on them for everybody that gets them. But I like that kind of era of photography, and that kind of all this grass stuff. This, if you hold it to the mirror, you'll see the lyrics. You got to hold it to the mirror to read it. Yeah. I got the idea. If you're in New York City, or if you're somewhere and you're in a French restaurant, they put the menu up on the window.
Yes.
So when you're sitting inside, you're seeing it all backwards. You have to go outside to read it. So that's kind of where I got the idea.
That's why it comes up in this way?
Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Because of the French. Yeah. Okay.
There's my friend's hand. That's the artist's. That's his hand.
All right.
He was reaching in. I said, rustle that grass around a little bit. This is all grass. Right in front of the...
it's all grass.
Yeah, the LA Times, there's a building, it's all grass in front of the Los Angeles Times by the LA Police Department. So, yeah, I think it's a beautiful cover. He did a beautiful job. I'm really happy with it.
Is that the same woman?
Same woman, yeah.
Behind?
Yeah.
For fun, we saw the Giant Pizza playing Element on YouTube.
Fantastic, wasn't that great?
Oh, yeah, it's really cool. Who's that guy?
No idea.
You don't have idea?
No idea, but
it's the wonderful things of internet.
It's awesome, I know. It's so great. Like, why is he wearing a giant slice of pizza? It's great. Guitar hero. I love that he throws the guitar down and gets frustrated and
you're in the bridge.
Yeah, it's so great. That bridge is hard. It's people.
Yeah, we noticed that playing Helmet. We did it just because at some point during playing Helmet song you say, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Yeah.
Hey, it's late.
about the internet, because we read on an interview by you on the internet that people for sure has to be paid to make music, right? But now we cannot stop the internet revolution. No?
Sure, yeah.
Lots of people can download stuff for free. So this is the direction, we know that. And I surely know that in America selling MP3 on the internet works much better than in Europe.
Yeah.
I can tell that.
Yeah.
And what do you think that major labels must do to improve the situation? Because we see them like giant elephants dying because they just.
I don't have any. I have no sympathy for major record labels. I mean, I had a great experience with Interscope for 10 years or whatever it was, and a great experience with Amphetamine Reptile. My last record label experience was a bad one. That was with a label called Warcon. But that was just criminals that stole my creative property and kept money from me. So I don't have any. I'm not worried about them. I'm more worried about musicians getting paid, so we can continue to do what we do. But I never ever tried to fight bootlegging or any of that stuff. I never thought it was. I've always kind of tried to live by the sort of tenet of control what you can control, and don't try to control things that are beyond your control, like the weather. You're gonna stop someone from. It's just not worth it. I was surprised by the whole Napster thing in Metallica, and that they went so far to stop. And it hurts bands like a Helmet much more than it hurts bands that have sold millions of records.
For sure.
Because we barely eke out a living.
That's the point.
To get by. So. I would only say that I would hope people would buy the music. I know it's available to them, and when I'm dead, and it doesn't matter unless I have some kids. Then I would want them to be taken care of. But I buy music. I download music all the time.
I do as well. I do it as well.
Yeah. So
I'm kind of worried because I know kids. I know what they do now. And for me, it's a pleasure buying a record, because I want to touch it, I want to feel it.
Absolutely.
Then when I buy it, I want to I listen to it more, more excited. And then instead, when you download it, and you just a list of folders in each, and that's it. There's no substance. I don't know what to say.
It's different. Yeah. I mean, the internet's great. It's. I still am not.
We don't blame that. But.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's made our life better or worse, I can't say. There's some great things about it, but I existed and lived fine and perfectly happy without it too. You know
cool.
what I mean? So,
yes.
I think we're seing a bit this kind of attention deficit disorder generation that doesn't have the patience to sit through a 20-minute symphony. They want everything now, just bits and pieces, and they're only getting sort of a flavor of things rather than delving into something.
They don't go deeply into things.
Yeah, it's a different, completely different frame of mind, but it could be interesting to see what'll come of it. Who knows, Hopefully I'll live another 30-40 years and see some more amazing changes. Maybe come back where maybe people. Vinyl has made a huge resurgence. We get vinyl,
that's true.
So that's good.
That's true.
Well, I think it's dinner time for us.
Yeah. Can you just say hello to people from Radio Sonora, and we're done.
Oh yeah. Hi, it's Paige from Helmet. Nice to see you, Radio Sonora. All right. Ciao.
Cool. Thank you so much.